Coming up next on Another View, the alarming increase in childhood obesity. Here are some numbers that will make you sit up and take notice. Almost 36% of African American children ages 2 to 19 are overweight or obese, compared to 32% of white children. An astounding 11.4% of African American kids ages 2 to 5 are obese, and 29% of Black adolescent girls are obese, higher than any other age group by gender, race, or ethnicity. We know that obesity affects everyone, but why are African American children so fat? Is it nutrition, lack of exercise, genetics, the African American culture? We'll talk about childhood obesity in the African American community right after this news from NPR.
Discussing the issues and celebrating the successes of the African American community. This is Another View.
And good Friday afternoon to everybody. I'm Barbara Ham-Lee. Welcome to Another View. I just love watching our guest faces when they hear our massive audience out there clapping. It's so much fun. So now, if you're a cable subscriber, then perhaps you've seen the HBO documentary Weight of the Nation, which explores obesity and how it affects individuals, families, our healthcare system, and our society. One of the parts of the documentary talks about childhood obesity and how our children are suffering from diseases like high blood pressure and diabetes because they're overweight or obese. Obesity is an epidemic in the African American community, and it's hitting our children the hardest. So how can we combat obesity in our kids? Joining us to talk about this is Dr. Adayna Upchurch Burrows. She's a pediatrician in Virginia Beach who specializes in childhood obesity, and she's with the Tidewater Pediatric Consultants. Dr. Burrows, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So happy to have you here. Dr. Kira Davies, she's a physical therapist who works with the Healthy You program at Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters. Dr. Davies, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. Thanks for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Ms. Chyennesia, did I say it right? Chyennesia, I'm going to get it right. Chyennesia Griffin. And she's a grandmother who's made some changes to help her granddaughter become more healthy. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. And Ms. Xyla King, who is 11 years old and joined the Healthy You program after showing some symptoms of pre-diabetes. Xyla, how are you?
I'm doing well today, thank you.
Good, thanks for coming. We were really happy to have you here on the show today. And I want to start our conversation by talking to you because I'd like to know a little bit about you. Tell us, who is Xyla?
Well, when I was, I think, 10, we went to the doctors, and I saw how much I weighed, and I was overblown. I couldn't believe it, so right that moment, my mom and I, we made a vow that we will work towards being more healthier, making out sodas, eating more fruits and vegetables, drinking more water, basically all of the things that we should do.
Well, now, before you went to the doctor, did you run out and play a lot? Were you around the same size as your other friends? Was something going on that made you go to the doctor in the first place?
Well, it was a regular appointment.
Okay.
They just waited me in, and I wouldn't really go outside that much as I needed to. I just didn't like going outside for some reason, but now I just love going outside.
So you were staying inside. You were doing what? Playing video games or watching TV or
watching TV and sleeping.
Watching TV and sleeping. Oh, okay. So did you feel like you were larger than your friends?
At times I did, at times I didn't.
Okay. Do you mind telling us how much you weighed that day when you got on that scale?
I can't quite remember how much I weighed.
Okay, but it was enough to make you say, whoa, something needs to
Yes.
change. Okay. So what kind of foods were you eating before you decided to eat more healthy?
Well, I would always be drinking juice. I wouldn't be eating live vegetables or fruit. I would sometimes I'll eat a lot of fast food.
Did anybody ever tease you?
No.
About your size?
No
They
one
never
ever
did?
teased me.
Nobody ever teased you?
No.
So you didn't think it was a problem prior to your going to the doctor?
No. But once I saw how much I weighed, I said, okay, time for a change. Knew me it's going to happen.
So what else was going on, Chyennesia, within the household? I mean, did you all recognize that Xyla needed to make some changes, or did she just seem like a normal kid?
Basically, she seemed like a normal kid. We did not have any changes at that time. We were just, I was cooking with fatty foods. I would let her have whatever she basically wanted. I would give her seconds. The portion size was not an interest to me at the time. Mm-hmm. The skies were basically the limit. Whatever she wanted, she could have it. I had everything she wanted in the home. Mm-hmm. So, until we learned better, of course. Mm-hmm. But just thought she was healthy.
So when you realized that she also had a diagnosis of being pre-diabetic.
Yes.
How did you react to that? Were you shocked? Was that something that even entered your mind that she may be having those kinds of issues?
I knew it was possible because diabetes do run in my family. Never thought it would hit my grandchild. She went to the doctor for her yearly physical for school. Mm-hmm. And when she went to have labs, that's when we found out. Once we found out, I was basically hysterical because I was just diagnosed with diabetes myself February prior. Mother and father, severe diabetics. So I knew it was very scary at that time. Then once Healthy You was introduced to me, I jumped on it. I think I only had maybe like 4 days to get everything in, paperwork done, and we were able to get in the program. Mm-hmm. She was diagnosed in August. We were in the program September.
Oh, so you guys moved very, very quickly.
Oh, yes.
Once that happened.
Yes.
Dr. Davies, tell us about the Healthy You program. What exactly happens there? What do you do with people like Xyla?
Sure. The Healthy You for Life program at CHKD is a multidisciplinary weight management program for kids and teens. The way that someone gets into the program is that they're referred by their primary care doctor, and their initial visit is with our pediatrician, and she meets with the child and with the family and identifies really what their needs are. She can order blood work if that's necessary, if there are any concerns. And then at their second visit, they meet with the team, and the team consists of a physical therapist, a dietitian, and a social worker. Mm-hmm. And so at that follow-up visit, they meet the rest of the team, and they really learn a lot about nutrition. They learn a lot about the benefit of being physically active in their everyday life. And then they meet with the social worker to address and identify any concerns associated with teasing or isolation or food insecurities and things like that. And then at their subsequent visits, they meet with whoever they feel is the priority. So if they feel like nutrition is really where they have the knowledge deficit, then they might spend more time with the dietitian. If they feel like, you know what, we've made these changes in our household, we're changing portion sizes, we're, not taking seconds unless we really need it. And if we do, we're filling up on fruits and veggies, we're making healthy food changes, but we're really struggling with finding things to do on rainy days or when it's too hot or when the kids can't go outside because it's not a safe neighborhood, then they meet with the physical therapist and they talk about brainstorming ideas to be active. And we always try to make it kind of a family affair. Mm-hmm. And then if they feel like they've got those two things nailed down, or if they feel like they can't address those until they work out some other things, then they meet with the social worker and they maybe identify underlying reasons for binge eating or skipping meals or things of that nature.
Okay, so Chyennesia, you made a lot of changes then within the household.
Oh, yes.
So tell us a little bit about that. What some of the things that you had to change?
Basically, we had to change our the foods that we had in the home. That was a major change.
So give me some specifics. Like, for instance, if you had potato chips in the house, you got rid of those and brought in what?
We got rid of the potato chips. Which would kill replaced them. We replaced them with veggie chips and cracker chips. We do more fruits. We got rid of the cookies. And with her being a child, of course, she may want cookies or whatever. Then I would just, instead of buying the pack of cookies, we tried a cookie called Who Knew? And that was very good. The portion size was awesome, really small, so she was able to have 2. She drinks water instead of the juices. Of course, I heard she has a limit, 2-cup limit. Instead of having a bowl of cereal with sugars, she will have a cup of Fiber One or Special K.
Xyla, that was a lot of changes. How did you react to that? I mean, you're a kid. You like sugary cereal.
Every time I heard him change, I'd be like, what? We're doing what now? Great. Sounds fun.
But something in there is giving you the incentive to stick with that. What is that? What's helping you to say, you know what, I'm making these changes?
Well, I think about my family background. I'm saying to myself, it's not going to happen to me. I'm making a change. From now on, I'm eating healthier. I'm not gonna become a diabetic.
Dr. Burrows, you meet children who are as determined as Xyla?
I do meet children who are determined, and first and foremost, it's awesome when the child is determined, but since most kids don't put food on the table or go grocery shopping, it has to be a parental concern, because you can identify where the problem or some of the things that can happen with childhood obesity, or if your child is obese. But if the parents are not willing, then I applaud you, Chyennesia, for doing that, because you saw a problem and you said, we're going to do this, because it has to start somewhere. You can't bring it in the house. You can't isolate one child, because within, a family, every child has a different makeup. You can have one child who is obese or overweight, and you can have one child who has always been normal on their growth chart. But you don't penalize that one child. It's a whole family thing.
So it has to be a whole family thing.
It has to be a whole family thing. But yeah, I do see kids who want to, make a difference, because they don't. They don't want to possibly be teased. However, there is a trend, because the obesity issue has tripled since 1980s. The idea of norm has changed too. So you have kids who are obese or overweight, and because their peers look the exact same to them,
it's okay.
It's no problem.
Well, and I was going to ask you about that, because culturally, there is a feeling within the African American community in particular that having a little meat on your bones, as they say, is a good thing, and that's a positive thing, and that's a sexy thing. And so when little kids, we're talking about 11% of kids, 2 to 6 are obese already, and as they're growing up, particularly with girls, they get a body image.
Because dogs
this is nothing
bury
wrong.
bones.
Right, dogs bury bones, or nobody wants a bone but a dog.
Right.
And so we hear those kinds of things. So how do you start to change that mindset?
You, step by step, little by little, because it's not just because grandmother did this, my mother did this, or this is how we are, and our family is just big boned. Because you hear that, you just have to let them know that it's still not healthy, it's still not right. You say that your child is at an increase at a younger age for having diabetes and the complications. If we have diabetics now who are anywhere from 11 to 18, they have type 2 diabetes, which used to be an adult disease. Think of the complications that start earlier. Do you want your child at the age of 25, 35 who has diabetes because they did not try to prevent it at a younger age? Do you want them almost on dialysis? Do you want them on a boatload of medications? So you have to change the mindset, that I understand, what has been said, and I understand what's in your family or what we have thought of growing up. You got to have some meat. You're not healthy if you don't have meat. But you're not necessarily healthy if you don't have meat too. So you have to change the mindset and see where it starts from, so you can try to get to the root and then start over.
And then make that change. 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240 are the numbers to call to join our conversation. We're talking about overweight children today and what we can do to help them to not be overweight and to live healthier lives. Jeff joins us from Hampton. Hi, Jeff. You're on the air.
Good morning, Barbara. How are you today?
Fine. How you doing?
So this is Jeff from the Healthy Connection.
Uh-huh.
And I'm glad you have this topic. You made a comment, what are we doing to change the paradigm in the African-American community? And one of the things we offer right now is a juicing boot camp, because also things that they've all mentioned are great, and they should move toward fruits and vegetables. We're finding that juicing should be a part of their daily lives as they change their lifestyle. So we see a lot of customers come in where the parents are obese and the 4-year-old children almost busting out of their skin, and they're obese because they're only doing what the parents are doing, and we're finding that education is the key. And that's what we do, is help educate the community from a holistic standpoint on how to take control of their health naturally.
So you're saying that juices, doing more fresh fruits and vegetables and so forth, that it's an educational learning curve, if you will.
Well, it is, and even the fact that what we do is we take the customer through a 4-week boot camp where we teach them all the aspects of juicing, juice extracting, body pH, what food is, what food isn't. We've been taught so long from fast food that it's food, and it's really not food as far as micronutrients of what our body needs to thrive and to wash the cells and to give us energy. Okay. So we go into a very strong and in-depth training program on how to teach people how to do that.
Okay, great. Jeff, thanks so much for the call. We appreciate it. You know, a lot of times people say, well, I can't eat healthy. I don't have time. I just don't have time to do those fresh veggies or I don't have access to the fresh vegetables and fruits. Chyennesia, tell us about making that change and making that cooking change and so forth. For that person out there thinking, yeah, whatever, she did it, but I don't have time to do it. Give us some ideas as to what you did so that you could still incorporate that into the rest of your life.
Basically what I do, maybe we don't have the time, but what I do, if you go to Sam's Club, they have a nice portion size of fresh vegetables that's already bagged together. They're not frozen, they're fresh. And you can take those vegetables and you can bag them in portions. And then if you really don't have the time, I buy the steam bags that you can put them in the microwave. There are your vegetables right there in minutes. So that was really easy for me. We love vegetables. Xyla eats a lot of vegetables now. She loves them. And we'll eat them cooked or we'll eat them raw.
You like Brussels sprouts?
Nah, I'm a big Brussels sprouts person.
I just learned to start liking them myself. But I do like them roasted. They're actually pretty good that way. Xyla, what do your friends say when they notice it? You know, do you bring your lunch to school or do you eat at the school?
We eat at school. Okay,
but do you pick and choose different things? Maybe are you eating something differently at school than you would have before?
Well, at my school, every different lunch, we always have something healthy. So I'll have that, and also I might have a cup of yogurt.
So do your friends say, why are you eating yogurt? Why don't you eat this ice cream with me? Or why don't you eat, potato chips with me instead?
Well, on Fridays they have ice cream. And so normally they don't really say that. We'll just have our own conversations about something else different.
So you just talk about something else. Then there you go. Now, is it okay though, Dr. Davies, for her does Xyla have to absolutely deprive herself of anything that would be considered fattening?
No, I don't think so at all. I think that what we really need to do is just educate the kids and families so that when they make a choice, they're making an informed choice. So I think a lot of the problems is that a lot of the problem is that with something like juice, people think, okay, we're going to not drink soda, we're going to drink juice instead. They just don't know, maybe they haven't been taught to read a food label before, because that's just not something that everybody knows how to do. I think sometimes in health professions we take that for granted, because for a really long time we've been learning about that. But families with different backgrounds and in different lines of work, if they haven't been exposed to how to tell whether something's healthy or not, or how to read a food label, or what an appropriate serving size is, they just don't know. So then they're making uninformed choices, so they don't have a chance. If we can educate them and teach them what's a healthy choice, what might not be such a healthy choice, and, kind of give them that eat this, not that, if you have the choice. Then if it's ice cream day on Friday and Xyla wants to have an ice cream and all the other kids are having ice cream, well, yeah, have an ice cream. But she knows that, this is not something I could eat every day. This is not something I could have for dessert after every meal. I'm making a conscious choice to have this, but maybe this afternoon I'll go for a longer walk, or I'll make sure I get outside and play before I sit down on the couch to kind of veg out, and just helping them be more informed with the choices that they're making.
And they make. I see you, Dr. Burrows, shaking your head. You agree with that?
I totally do. I mean, to me, it's not realistic. It's not realistic, because then you'll deprive a child, and then they can become depressed from that, because I can never ever eat any sweets. And I tell my patients, it's not that you don't cut this stuff out forever. You just do it in moderation. You're not going to have ice cream every day. Let's drink some water. We live in a day and age where we have bottled water now. Drink some water, and the juice, especially with the little ones, because a lot of times little babies and infants who have the little sippy cups will put juice in those cups. They're drinking juice all day. Well, let's cut it or dilute it with some water, so they're not just drinking a cup of sugar. So, it's not totality, it's in moderation.
Now, we know that in New York, they are talking about cutting out the ability to buy supersized bottles of sugary drinks and so forth. And we pulled a clip from the Colbert Report, because he had some interesting things to say about it.
No more giant sodas? Come on! This is America, the land of plenty. We haven't even achieved type 3 diabetes yet. We're so close. And I don't know about you folks, but I can't drink less than 16 ounces. I need a soda so large that James Cameron wants to go to the bottom of it.
Now, he's making fun of it, but the fact of the matter is, people really don't realize how many calories, Dr. Davies, that they're drinking. And that is a problem, isn't it?
I agree. Yeah, and I haven't thought too deeply into this thing that's going on in New York, but I like the idea that it's drawing some attention to it. I like the idea that it's drawing some attention to the idea that all of these huge drinks and fattening foods are just at our disposal, at our fingertips. And so again, it's just increasing awareness, so that when you go to grab whatever that is that you're going to put into your body, you at least have that thought for just a second. What am I bringing to my body by putting that in? What nutrients am I getting out of that? So I like that it's just bringing some attention to the idea.
Well, Dr. Burrows, some people say, well, here's Big Brother again. You're telling me what I can eat now. You're telling me what I can drink now. What do you think about the idea? And do you think it's something that could spread nationwide?
I just heard about it actually yesterday, and so I haven't really thought about it, but I think it's a step of somebody trying to say, at least we're trying to help on the positive side. On the negative side, if 16 ounces or whatever is the limit, are you going to limit the number of 16 ounces they can buy? I mean, 16 to 16 is 32, so let me just buy 2.
Well, and they do say that you can buy 2. The point being that you can't just buy the huge sizes any longer. Now, they won't prohibit you from buying 2. Some people say, well, that's inconvenient if I got to carry 2 sodas as opposed to 1.
I think it's a step, I think it's a step, and there are different officials across the nation, different mayors that are trying in their cities, bike lanes, just encouraging people to walk more or just to get out more. So I do think, I think effort, just the effort is a good gesture.
Chyennesia, what do you think about that? I mean, should the government have to tell you that you can have a soda or not, or is that really something that individuals need to?
I look at it like this. It's worth a try. And the way I look at it is that sometimes it's hard to make a change. Sometimes people do not like to change. But it's worth trying. And once you try, because we did the same thing. We don't buy them. We don't have them in our homes. If we drink one, it's maybe...
On like a day where...
Go ahead. You can talk.
On a day where it's probably like something big going on, or
like if there's a celebration going on or something like that?
Once a month, once every 2 months. Once we stop, we don't even want them. Me, myself, personally, if I go to drink one, I'm choking, I'm coughing because it's so strong. I just
so
don't
your
want
body
it.
has changed
My body
so that
has
you're not
changed.
used to it any longer.
Yes, and I really think that's I think it's a very good idea, and I really think this soda is I really don't think it's good at all. Because when I first found out how much sugar was in one can of soda, I could just fell out.
Because you had no idea that it was that much sugar.
No idea whatsoever.
So, Dr. Burrows, if someone says, "Well, I drink diet soda," is that a good substitution?
It's not the same. No, it's not the same as water, or because you still have some artificial sweeteners and everything in there, and if it's a dark soda, you just have to worry about the acid that's in it. So yes, it has decreased sugar, but a lot of times when it's diet, they have replaced it with something else that's not healthy.
If you're just joining us, we're talking about combating childhood obesity with pediatrician Dr. Adayna Burrows, physical therapist Dr. Kira Davies with the Healthy You program, Chyennesia Griffin, who's a grandparent who's making healthy lifestyle changes, and her beautiful granddaughter, 11-year-old Xyla King, who is an advocate for living a healthy lifestyle. So I want to talk to you, Kira, Xyla, about what it is that you and your friends talk about when you're talking about how girls should look and about your body image. Do you guys ever talk about that?
We never talk about that.
Really? You talk about clothes? Do you talk about what you're going to wear? Do you talk
we
about
talk about clothes a lot.
Okay, all right.
Most of the time at my school, we have a dress code. A dress code is if you wear a skirt, it can't be really short. But some girls at my school, they don't follow that rule.
They don't follow the rule.
They don't follow the rule.
Did you ever feel that there were certain clothes that you could not wear because you were larger than say someone else in your class?
No.
So you didn't have any of those self-esteem issues.
No.
But Dr. Davies, you've met some kids who do.
Yeah, that's certainly not always the case. And I think that is one of the saddest things about this whole epidemic is that the younger these kids are suffering from being overweight and being bigger than their peers. Not everybody, but there is a lot of teasing and bullying that can come out of that. And then younger and younger, they develop a negative self-image and just, have kind of poor self-talk. And so then they become a little bit more isolated. And that's when food can become a comfort to them. And then it just turns into this cycle. So I think that's a really hard part of this problem, which is why we really encourage all of our kids that are at least coming through our program to meet with the social worker. Even if they think they don't have any concerns with that, things might come up that parents, people are busy and parents are busy, and you're getting your kid from here to there and putting food on the table. And sometimes there's not always time to sit down and talk about, how their weight might be affecting them in ways other than how their clothes fit.
Dr. Burrows, what do you hear from your patients? Are they teased? Do they worry about their self-image?
Some kids are teased. Some of them you can just tell how when you address the issue. You have to be very, very cautious of how you address it, like I always am, because the child is in there listening, and they may not say that they have a problem, but they do. So, some of them are teased. They don't want to be the fat person, or I cannot do this, or I can't wear that because of my weight, or I can't play, especially for the younger guys when they want to play like football, the rec football. If they're only 7 or 8 and they're bigger than most of the kids their age, that's an issue because they're too big to play with kids their age because it's not a fair advantage. So I do. And can I just say something about eating healthy?
Sure.
You don't have time. We can make time for what we want. It doesn't take that much more time to eat healthy if you truly, like Chyennesia said, if you truly plan out, portion it right. It doesn't take that much more time to do it. I mean, it's actually a little bit more
Easier,
simpler. It's actually easier, and it can actually save you a little bit money. Most people think, well, I have to have so much more money to eat healthier, and you actually don't. It's just the choices, and I think that what it's the education, trying to educate people on the choices to make and what they want to do when it boils down to it.
440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. If you've made major changes within your family's household, call us and let us know what those changes are. How are you helping to combat the issue of childhood obesity? Daniel joins us from Hampton. Hi, Daniel. You're on the air.
Hey, it seems ironic that black people seem to be doing real well athletically, like statistically, apparently. But anyway, it would be interesting to hear the clip from Dave Chappelle talking about juice versus drink. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that.
Yeah, that's the comedian Dave Chappelle,
Yeah.
and he talks about that black people don't know about grape juice because we have grape drink. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The whole bit covered vegetables and everything. But anyway, I just suddenly thought about, black people. Wow, we're supposedly so obese and unhealthy and everything, but man, we seem to be doing pretty well with athletics. I mean, what are the secrets that these people have?
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, we'll get a response from our panel. Thanks so much for calling, Daniel. Dr. Burrows.
Hi, Daniel. Athletics and obesity are like oil and water. People do well in athletics because they strive to do well in athletics. Most athletes are not obese, so that's a totally different, I guess, scenario. But it comes down to what you want to put your mind to. But I think athletics and obesity are not.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is
compared.
that since we have so many African American athletes who aren't obese, who are doing well, but like you said, they're athletic. They made that choice to be athletic, as opposed to someone who may be obese, that's not their mindset.
Right.
That's not their mindset. I want to talk a little bit about food deserts. The ability to be able to physically get to a location in order to get fresh fruits and vegetables. One of the studies that I was reading about as I was studying for this show was talking about how because so many African Americans don't have access to grocery stores, to be able to get to a grocery store easily, to be able to shop and so forth, that it precludes them from eating fresh fruits and vegetables because there's no place to really buy them.
I would think that can be true too, because you can have different selections in the same line of stores but in different neighborhoods. We have to use our power of voice too in a positive way. But if that is the circumstances where they don't have a fresh fruit or vegetable, frozen, canned, rinse it off to get rid of a lot of the salt that these are packaged in. Instead of buying the little Huggies and the juices for your kids to drink all the time, we're going to say if you're going to buy some bottled water, because it's usually always on sale, to do that. Let's substitute maybe a package of hot dogs for some meat that you can buy in bulk, and let's cook that up. Let's buy some chicken breast that we can make and just slice it up, and you can serve it at different things. So yes, there's always some option available, because some people don't have access to food, but they do get food somewhere, whether it's, I don't have a car, But if I can ride with my friend and I know I have to hurry up and get this stuff, well, let's just put back to this time. Let's not get one thing and substitute it for
something else
for something else.
Chyennesia, did you make all the changes all at once? Or did you introduce things as you kind of went through the program?
We made a big change, and I would say basically all at once, because the teaching that we had from the Healthy You, from dietitians, and from the program, you will want to change. Once you learn the portion sizes, once you learn what you're eating, what's in what you're eating, you're going to want to change.
I'm curious, so now you said that you were diagnosed with diabetes, a year before?
Maybe like 9 months prior.
Okay. When you got your diagnosis, did you make changes then for yourself?
When I was diagnosed, I was in denial. And I was in my mind.
So seeing Xyla woke you up also then? I mean, in terms of what you needed to do, you think?
Yeah. Well, by the time Xyla was diagnosed, I was in a better position then with myself. So it was much easier to help her out, because I definitely didn't want her to have to go through what she would have to go through if I didn't make changes in my household. And a good thing that will help also is to involve the child. Involve the child in the grocery shopping, reading the labels. It takes a little time, but sometimes we do have to make time for our kids anyway. So that's a great way to make time and spend time with your child and make it a fun way. And the main thing I had to learn to do was to say no. Say no. If they
and
ask,
not feel bad about it.
Say no. Be the parent. And recognize that your child is a child and you know what's best for that child, and just say no. Okay.
Xyla, you have a response to that, huh?
Well, I do agree with her saying just say no, because I learned that I just accept what she says. And I got used to it. So
once you got used to it, it got better.
Yes.
It got a little easier. Kara, did you?
I was just going to add a comment to the just say no. A lot of times in clinic, we have to give the parents the support to say no, because it's hard. We can preach it while they're in the clinic. Don't eat this, don't eat that. Make sure you exercise. Take away TV. But it's a lot harder to put that into real life when they get home. And so we have to always encourage the kids that, the parents have their best interests at heart. And a lot of times we use the seatbelt analogy. So our social worker specifically will say to the mom or to the child, when you get in the car, mom makes you put your seatbelt on, right? You don't get mad at her because she makes you put your seatbelt on, because it could save your life. So when mom says, you know what, we're going to try this for dinner, just give it a try. We're going to try this lean protein and this green vegetable, and we're going to have fruit for dessert. Give it a try. Don't get mad at her, because she's just trying to save your life. And so they use that as kind of an analogy, and it works really well to the kid because they can't really argue with that. And it works well to the mom because they say, yes, I do make my child put their seatbelt on every time they get in a car. So yes, I can try to put my foot down and be the parent in this situation and do what's right for my kid.
Absolutely. David joins us from Newport News. Hi, David. You're on the air.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, it was nice that you answered that question a second ago, and the answers that kind of, I guess, support what I was calling about. Earlier y'all were debating between depriving kids of certain things versus educating them, and and I have to think that overall, the healthy experts, it's kids don't discipline themselves very well, and I think by educating, and I think the comment or the guest just kind of reinforced that when you educate an adult or especially a kid, especially at a younger age, the kid's going to be more apt to making better choices and building those best those better habits. And then as they get older, they can make kind of deviate it as they want to have some ice cream or to have something that's chips or whatever. But if you start at a younger age and you're educating them about the better foods and how to make those choices, then you're not forcing them or depriving them. You're educating them and allowing their minds to make those decisions on their own, and then it just kind of steamrolls from there.
Absolutely. Thanks, David, for the call. Dr. Burrows?
David, I totally agree. It's just amazing to watch their minds work when you all have all come together and say, okay, we're going to try this. And it is a step-by-step process. I have 2 daughters, and I try my best, to practice what I preach. And, they've even started to read, get the box, read the label. Oh, we can't have this, or, if we do go out to eat, because I'll be honest, I don't cook every single day. But when we do go out to eat, well, let's see what are some of the healthy choices that we can eat. We love to go to Subway. It's just amazing. They know how to shop, oh, we can't get that one. If we're drinking milk, they know we do the skim milk, So it is to educate them, to involve them in the process, and even involve them in the preparing and the cooking of the food if they're of age.
That I asked you, Xyla, a question before we went on the air, and I asked you to tell me how much weight you've lost. And what did you tell me? Do you remember?
I wasn't for sure how much weight I lost.
You weren't for sure, but Chyennesia, you chimed in. You said something about the scale, and I'd really love you to talk about that.
Yeah, we don't get on the scale. We don't weigh, because sometimes the scale can be depressing because you want to lose the weight, and when you get on, you look for more pounds, inches to come off, and it doesn't. So we don't get on the scale at all. We don't weigh at all. We just do we just continue to do what we're doing to eat healthy, stick with the portion size. With us, we try not to eat after 6. It works better for us. If we do, we don't feel well at all. Xyla has experienced recent, if she eats a little more than she needs to, she'll get sick. It normally comes like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So we normally try to stick to our portion size, and I teach her to eat your portion size and then wait. Let your brain allow you to tell you that you're full, because if you don't, you're going to continue to eat. You're going to eat, and then you're going to be exhausted. So we just don't weigh in. We don't get on the scales. We don't weigh in. We don't have one in the home. We care not to get on one. The only time we get on when we go to the doctor's office, she may ask. I don't ask.
You don't ask?
I don't ask. I can tell by my clothes.
Is that good? I love that. You tell by your clothes.
That's a good thought and a good practice to follow, because some people, we get caught up on the scales. And with children in particular, because they are still going through different growth phases in their life, through puberty, they will develop more lean muscle mass. The scale is going to say a lot of different things. They're going to get taller, so the scale may not look the weight may not be what you want. So we look at other parameters. There's a lot of different other parameters that we look at, which is one is the BMI, because
body
mass index, which is, takes into account your weight and your height. So we do look at that, see if that's coming down some. And another thing is, how the clothes fit and different exercises and different things. So I think that's a good thought, too, not to just get focused in on a number, especially for children.
Now, Dr. Davies, there is an event coming up at CHKD that can help with losing weight and so forth that our entire community can get involved in, isn't it?
There is. CHKD is getting ready to have their annual run walk for the kids in Norfolk. It's downtown and at Town Point Park. And this event features an 8K, a 2-mile walk, and a 1-mile fun run for kids. This is just a really positive event. It's a lot of kids and families coming out together of varying abilities. It's walker friendly, and it's just a lot of people coming together to do something healthy for themselves and to support one another. We're always encouraging kids to get involved with these type of events because usually once they've done one of these races, they want to do more. We've had a Healthy You for Life team do several of the events in the area. We recently did a 5K, a Girls on the Run 5K, and we have a team for the upcoming run walk for the kids.
Are you on the team, Xyla?
No.
You're not?
We might have to recruit her, though.
I think you may be.
The hospital does offer a discounted rate for our Healthy You team, and then we are also obviously encourage family to participate as well. And it really is kind of does double duty because the kids are out doing something that's healthy, something that's active, and then all the proceeds for the event will go to CHKD and its programs.
Okay, so if people want to know more, what should they do?
You can find out more if you go to runwalkforthekids.org. Mm-hmm. You can also go to the CHKD.org homepage and just follow the link for Run Walk for the Kids. You can join an existing team. You can form a team with your family and friends, or you can do it as an individual.
So, but the key is, Chyennesia, and we're almost out of time, is to get the whole family involved, is it
It's
not?
basically to get the whole family involved. And I make sure if Xyla is not with me, she's with my daughter. I make sure wherever she is that everyone has the same interest, the best interest for Xyla.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're following the same things that you would do if you were at home.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I got a feeling you put your foot down too, and that happens, doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Xyla, what would you want to say? We got about a minute left to tell young people, especially if they are overweight. What should they do?
Get outside more, eat more of your vegetables, like greens, carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, things like that. Eat more fruit. Watch your carb intake.
And just kind of change your lifestyle, huh?
Yes.
But still at the same time feel good about yourself, right?
Right.
That's fantastic. Okay, thank you so much for joining me, all of you, to talk about this issue. We'll continue this conversation because it really is important for the entire community, for all of us to become healthier. And we'll be right back.
Go ahead, child. Go ahead, get your sexy up. 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 Get your sexy up. I'm bringing sexy back.
That's right. We're bringing sexy back, and bringing sexy back being healthy. So now as the school year winds down, we want to take a little time to say thank you to the educators who help shape and mold the minds of our children and grandchildren. You managed to do your job well despite some very challenging circumstances sometimes. And some of you would teach even if you didn't get paid. Now, WHRO and Dominion Power recently recognized one educator who feels just that way. During this year's Community Impact Award ceremony at the Norfolk Waterside Marriott, Gwendolyn Lee Lomax was recognized for her commitment to education. Our Lisa Godley has her story.
There are more than 375,000 different types of plants. Did you know that?
No. Yes.
Okay.
For Gwendolyn Lee Lomax, teaching is more than a career.
I've been doing this all my life. My mother was a teacher.
For close to 40 years, it's been her passion.
I started off as a Head Start teacher, underneath my mother as a volunteer. So it has continued me all my life. I want you to flip over to the page like
Even after retirement, it's been her quest to make sure children are exposed to the subjects and experiences that will help shape them into productive people.
Now, what things do plants need to live?
Water,
sunlight, air.
One way she's done that is through her work with 4-H and CHROME, or Cooperative Hampton Roads Organizations for Minorities in Engineering, which introduces kids to science, technology, engineering, and math.
Miss Lomax is lovable. She loves children. She's genuine. She's old school, and she just has a passion for teaching and working with children.
The program started at the Salina Street Community Center, which was housed inside John Tyler Elementary School in Hampton, and continued there for 6 years until it was eliminated under a new administration. But that did not stop Gwendolyn Lee Lomax.
She's very determined. Even when doors closed in different locations where she wanted to do the program, she always found other ways.
She moved the program to Hampton's main library, and all 75 students and their parents followed. It grew so large, the library couldn't hold them all. So the minute the Y.H. Thomas Community Center became available, Lee Lomax started a program there as well.
She always did our programs for free. She never charged us anything for coming in and doing the programs.
It wasn't long before she was back working with the after-school program in Hampton. But in an effort to provide more opportunities for her students, she partnered with Kid Tech, which not only hosted a summer program for the kids, but provided John Tyler with 20 refurbished computers. She also got NASA Langley and Hampton University to become her partners.
During the summer, we went over to HU, and then they had to dissect this frog right there. We had some children that did not want to touch the frog, and we made it possible for them to use it on on the computer, where they could dissect the frog on the computer, whereas we had another group that wanted to touch and dissect the frog, and they opened it up right there, and we saw all the parts. And believe it or not, some of those same children are in college now majoring in biology.
Some of her former program participants are now teachers, lawyers, and engineers, who she is quick to call on to speak with the younger ones she now instructs.
Our children don't get that visual to see what they could be when they go out in the world. Chrome makes it possible for them to know more about the sciences and what can happen if you get your math and your sciences. There are many careers that you can go into now.
This year alone, she took the program to 3 Hampton Elementary after-school sites, and she's already looking forward to next year.
I love teaching. I will continue to do it. Even if I'm not paid, I'm going to do it anyway.
For Another View,
Study of the ocean
I'm
and
Lisa
its
Godley.
creatures.
And we are saying congratulations again to Gwendolyn Lee Lomax. And time now for things to view and do in Hampton Roads.
You will be my Saturday love.
The Norfolk FBI presents a cybersecurity seminar on Tuesday, June 5th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Virginia Beach Resort Hotel on Shore Drive in Virginia Beach. Find out how to protect yourself from identity theft and more. Call 455-3161 for more information. Come check out the Community's Pulse, sponsored by the Hampton Roads Gazette magazine. It's a chance to network with nonprofit organizations and spread the word about an event you may be having. It's on Tuesday, June 5th from 5:30 to 7:30 at Piccadilly Cafeteria on North Military Highway in Norfolk. RSVP at hrgazzetti@gmail.com. You're invited to attend an afternoon of jazz and lunch featuring jazz vocalist Connie Parker and Company. It's a scholarship fundraiser sponsored by the Virginia Beach section of the National Council of Negro Women. The event is Saturday, June 9th from 9 until 4 at the Holiday Inn and Conference Center, Greenwich Road, Virginia Beach. Call 233-0600 to find out more. And it's the 10th anniversary of the Mother and Daughter Tea and Conference, sponsored by the Urban League Guild of Hampton Roads. I'm honored to serve as MC of this wonderful event. It's Saturday, June 9th from 9 until 2 at the Henry Maxwell Family Life Center inside Ivy Baptist Church on Maple Street in Newport News. Call 752-0729 to attend. Plan to celebrate freedom at the Juneteenth celebration on Saturday, June 16th at the Gourmet Breakfast Place, Old George Washington Highway in Chesapeake. The event is from 2 until 6 p.m. and features soul food, live music, and special guests. For more information, call 737-2180. You can find these and other events on our website, anotherviewradio.org. And while you're there, please sign up for our eView newsletter. It's a once-a-week reminder of upcoming shows. Next week, our roundtable pundits join us to talk about hot issues of the day facing the African-American community. And before I leave you today, I also want to give a special congratulations to all of the winners of last night's Evening of Excellence Awards in Norfolk. It was for the Norfolk Public School teachers, and it was a wonderful, wonderful event. And congratulations to everyone who works with our young people. For producer Lisa Godley, audio engineer Perry Smith, Shimon Tabron, and Jacob Bronshaw, who were on the phones, I'm Barbara Ham Lee. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you right back here next Friday at noon for Another View.